Hello again. I'm making a separate video that's just about my symptoms. I never thought, hearing that people have PTSD, and I knew it was like just extreme stress and this and that, and probably stomach issues and stuff, but I didn't know that it was this bad. The time that I got really sick, most times that it starts, the stress kicks in and I start getting sick, it's usually right before like the end of school or something, and so that stressor goes away. It's over shortly, and I'm able to just rest for a bit and slowly build strength back up. But there have been times where it's something that I've worked hard for, somewhere that I deserve to be, and I don't want to leave. Leaving would make it better, but like I said, it's something that I worked hard for, and then I'm just trying to finish. And so I hold on. And I can't go through life quitting every job or dropping every course in school just because others don't like me and they've chosen to single me out. That's something that I deal with almost everywhere. My whole life I've been turned on. Most of my life it's fine, it's stressful, but now, since I'm dealing with being traumatized by hospital staff, stress affects me differently. It becomes a trauma response. It honestly does. It's a few weeks of anxiety and stress, and then it just morphs into a trauma response. My body begins to systematically break down. It starts with exhaustion. You begin to get so tired, so tired. But once it kicks in, it's nightmares. Nightmares that lasted 8 years to the month. And it was like a switch was flipped. I didn't have one good dream in 8 years. If I slept well enough to dream, it was a nightmare. And it was not the nightmares of my childhood, about my trauma. These nightmares were about everything. The world was no longer a safe place, and my mind took everything that it collected in my lifetime and just played things out every night. It was a million different stories, a million different hells. I didn't sleep at nighttime. I laid awake, too exhausted to get up and watch some TV, too exhausted to read a bit, just exhausted. Just lay there. It wasn't until after daybreak every day that I would pass out. And the nightmares would start. And they almost never startled me awake. It was more like so horrifying that you squeeze yourself out of the dream. It's hard to explain. It's everywhere I go, oh, they're not nightmares unless they startle you awake. No, these were nightmares. These were nightmares, and they were so bad that you squeeze your eyes or you clench your body, and you get squeezed out of the dream. Sometimes I would awake to myself crying out. I made a video of a few of my recordings. For years, I didn't know what to do. I knew I needed proof of what I was going through. I was about to start just videotaping my whole night and then editing it, watching hours, trying to find the 1 or 2 times that I cry out. And that would have sucked. That would have been a lot of work, because I only cry out once or twice. And then I found a sleep talking app, and so that's how I got my recordings. I would put that on, and then all my recordings are after 7 in the morning, because I don't sleep until daybreak. There's 8 years to the month of seeing horrible shit that will just rip your heart out, shit that will just turn your stomach. Have you ever watched a video where it's just, you feel unsettled? Is, you know, sometimes our curiosity gets the best of us, and we watch a video online that we really shouldn't have, and your stomach turns, and it's just you're unsettled and you're off for the rest of the day. Every night was like that for me. Every night. I know they're just nightmares, but when you're in them, they're real, and my body reacts, and you wake up and you just, I see things all day on my peripheral. I smell things throughout the day. It's hard. I started overheating. Like, I overheat naturally, and I have hyperhidrosis, so I can sweat pretty good. But this was unbelievable. This was like I was out of shape or something, and like 5 steps and I'm sweating and I'm overheating. I had to bring a change of clothes everywhere. If I was bad, like, it sucks. You're getting lightheaded and you're getting dizzy and nauseous, but you need to sit down, but you can't sit down because you will sweat through your clothes and leave a mark for all to see. And then you sweat through your clothes. It was crazy. It was a lot. It was a lot. My startle response went through the roof. I live with my parents, and my dad, he's a quiet walker, and every time he would come around the corner, I would scream at him. He would startle me, and I would just shriek every time. It was so bad that I'd be in the kitchen, and I would hear him coming down the hallway. But when he turned the corner, I would still startle. Still. I heard him coming, and my body would still react, and I would still scream. There was twice where I was out and about, 2 separate times where a single person passed me too close from behind. It was on my left both times, which, if you knew my trauma, that would be understandable. And I just turned, not meaning to, I just scream right in their face. Like, just right in their face, like a horrific, terrified scream. You're instantly embarrassed. You give a little embarrassed laugh, and you tell them sorry, and you watch them walk away with this look on their face that says, she's got problems. And so you start going out less and less. You know, I hear footsteps. One of my assaults, I was taken from behind. I was snatched from behind, and so those footsteps never leave me. So it's hard to be in places where I'm hearing footsteps. And it's hard to have people come up too close behind me. And so you just stop going out. You just stay home. I have bouts where I get trembly and jittery. Like I'm trying to do something and just the stress of doing it makes me this. I just start trembling. People would tap me on the back just to pass a pencil back to me, and I would scream at them. Well, not at them, but I scream and startle. I don't mean to, but it's so loud and everybody's looking at you. And I spoke about nausea in my stomach. Every day, I get hit like 100 times a day with this wave of nausea that comes over me. And I gotta stop what I'm doing and like gently flex my stomach and just slow, controlled exhales. It gets to the point where I'm salivating like you do right before you're about to be physically ill. And I had to just stop whatever I'm doing and just slow, controlled exhales. It's so bad. I got to a point where every time I would eat something, the second I would put food in my stomach, it would start to rumble and grumble. And it would make noises for like 4 hours straight. So loud, I could feel it. It was crazy, and it got to a point I was 120 and 220, and I went down to 160. I lost 60 pounds in 3 months. Whether you believe me or not, it's the absolute truth. Every morning I woke up, I could feel my bones, my hips more, my ribs more. Every morning. And if I hadn't have got away from the stressor when I did, that I don't know how that would have ended. I'm assuming I would have lost weight until I had some sort of heart attack or something. That's like I'm thinking how that would have gone. I could tell that food was going through me faster. And on top of that, every month and a half, I would just out of nowhere basically get the flu for the evening. It hit me most of the time in the evening. Didn't feel it coming all day. You're eating whatever it is you eat. Eating things that you wouldn't eat if you were going to be throwing up. And it would just hit me out of the blue. And the next 6 hours or so, I would be hugging the toilet and laying on the bathroom floor. Once it subsided a bit after a few hours, I would have a bath, because bath would make it feel a bit better. It was like something built up in me for years. It was every month and a half it would hit me. And it was like something was building up. It was strange. Blood pressure, of course, through the roof. Through the roof. This happened with the doctors. They went after me at the end of 2004, 2005. I was 130 pounds. So I wasn't overweight, wasn't out of shape or anything. By 2008, I was medicated for high blood pressure. And so you did a lot of headaches and stuff, and had to tweak my meds because it was climbing. I got skin issues. My body started just breaking out. I looked like I used methamphetamines. I have a picture of my ad somewhere. It's my legs, and they have scabs all over them. And it was all over my body. It was just breaking down. I don't know what does that when you're under high stress, but it was everywhere. It wasn't just, an acne breakout. It was my skin's not getting enough oxygen or something, not enough proper blood flow. It was every time I went in the car, when I was a passenger, I would have yawning fits. It's 20 minutes to town here, and I would have a yawning fit, and I would just yawn and keep yawning the whole time for like 20 minutes every time I got in a car. There were mornings that I would wake up from my nightmares, and with those, I mean, I don't fall asleep till around 7. You have a bad dream, you wake up, it's daytime, people are starting to move about. I'm not going back to sleep. There's no way I'm going back to sleep. So for 8 years, I maybe got 2-3 hours sleep every day. It adds up. Some mornings I would wake up and my pupils would be dilated. My left one, I think, was always bigger than my right one. And for the first 10-15 minutes I was awake, my pupils would be huge, huge. I could feel them stretched. Near the end there, like at the worst part, my memory was shot. I'd forget what I wanted to say mid-sentence all the time. A lot of my days I had this feeling like I'm forgetting something important. Just can't remember what it is. I hate that feeling. My cognitive functions were at an all-time low. I'm a fairly intelligent person. And I mean, being fairly intelligent, you notice when you're suddenly not intelligent. And I wasn't. I had work to do. There's no way that I could even write an essay. I couldn't give you a statement and have supporting statements, no connecting the dots or no brainstorming, nothing. I was dead. Dead. It was awful. You keep going and you keep going. I remember the thing that made me stop everything was I drove 20 minutes to town here to hand out a resume. What am I thinking? I'm running on fumes. I'm having nightmares. I'm sick as a dog all the time. I'm a jittery, sweaty mess. I drove 20 minutes with the air conditioning blasting. I get out, I am soaked. Absolutely soaked. The lady I handed my resume to, my eyes were shaking. My eyes, I know she was blonde, but that's it. My eyes were vibrating so bad. I couldn't see straight. I couldn't focus on her. I remember getting in my car and saying, "You need to stop. You need to rest. You need to just stop going. It's not like, oh, you're sick with these symptoms. Just knuckle under or just push through." Pushing through is what made me so bad. It's not something that I can get through physically. I need to stop. I need to stop everything. I'm screaming at people in public. I'm shaking. I'm sweating. I go to Walmart with my parents. They're in there for half an hour, 10 minutes in. I gotta go sit in the car. I'm so nauseous. I just fall apart. Fall apart. That was when I finally said no. I need to stop. I need to stop looking for a job. I need to stop trying to do anything. And I just need to, I don't know. I've never been like this before. before him falling asleep and then the staff turning on me and attacking me and restraining me. You don't know what it's like to reach out for help and have them do some of the same things that you're trying to get help with, and they go and act out some of the things that your attackers did. I don't know the words. And I just know that so many people listening, you want to make me the bad person. I'm not. I'm smart, I'm caring, I'm intelligent, I'm a hard worker. I'm not looking for a free ride. I'm just looking for somewhat of the same opportunities that everybody else has. And I don't get those because any person who wants me to fail just has to single me out. And I'll get sick. I grew up a tomboy. I was always a tough chick. You know, I was in elementary school, I was a big track and field star. I was one of the kids at the bus stop, the younger kids, and their parents would say, well, when I drive to work in the morning and I see you at the bus stop, I don't worry so much about my young ones because I know you're at the bus stop with them. So I know they're being watched over. That kind of scared me. It was a compliment. I remember thinking, oh my God, if somebody came and tried to take them and say, you know, their mom's been hurt, and I'm their mom's friend from work, they don't know me, but I need to bring them. Am I going to stop this person? You know, I'm 13 years old. Am I going to stop this adult from taking these kids? And it would just make me worry. But they just meant it as a compliment. They just know that I'm a caring person, and I will stand up for the most part when something wrong is happening. It is so much easier standing up for others than it is for yourself. For me. If this wrong happened to someone else, I would have a megaphone, and I mean, this happened to me 2 decades ago, and I'm just making these videos now. And a large part of that is the shame. I am a tough chick, and what they did to me has torn me down. And there's so much shame, and there's so much stigma, and people just want to believe that I somehow deserved it, and I didn't. I'm not a violent person. I take pride in not being a violent person. Am I passionate? Yes. Do I hate bullshit? Yes. Am I violent? No. Can I be mistaken for violent? No. I will yell at you. I'm not going to hit you. If I was ever violent, it would be to protect someone who needed protection. But for the rest of my life, I have to live with these symptoms, and if I even try to explain them, I'm automatically the bad guy. It's awful what they've done to me. I call him a sleeping giant because he started it all. He just fell asleep day after day after day, and he's a giant because why? Because he's absolutely untouchable. I won't ever have accountability. I won't ever have justice. I'm making this record because I'm 42. When this happened, I was on my own, and I had a full-time job, and I had to give up my job. I had to move back in with my parents, and I've been with my parents ever since. And now, if I'm 42, you can imagine my parents are getting on. And so there's going to be a time where I'm going to probably end up homeless. Except that I won't. To me, being homeless means being assaulted again, and I can't let that happen. I want there to be a record of who I was and why I made the choices that I have in life. I just want understanding. I don't want pity. I don't need pity. I want peace. I want to be able to do something to make my parents proud. I mean, my dad's never going to walk me down the aisle. I've been single now for 12 years. When you go through this, you pull away. A relationship is the last thing. Who wants to wake up to my nightmares every day? Who wants to deal with me? That's okay. I'm not lonely. No. I'm not saying that for pity. I'm just saying there's things you want in a life. There's things that give meaning to a life. And I can't do any of them. You know, I have dreams of going to university, in my bachelor's in physics. I've lost years of schooling because of these symptoms. What am I gonna do? Try it again? Get far, do well, and then watch it all disappear? I have to give it all up. I had so much potential. But I'm at the mercy of these symptoms. I just want a record of the truth. And I know there's my truth, there's their truth, and then there's the truth. My truth is the closest thing to the truth. So I'll leave it there. I just wish you could understand what it's like to have your body doing things that you can't even control. I love you. And I wish you all the best. I'm gonna keep trying. As long as I'm alive, I'm gonna keep trying. But there's gonna come a time where I'm probably gonna be homeless. And that will be my last day.